Welcome to Designed Happy, the podcast where we talk about the human side of home design, remodeling, and new construction. I'm TJ.
And I'm Katie. And today, TJ, yeah,
She's doing air
air
guns.
guns. It's getting hot in here because we're talking heat maps. Beep, 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 beep.
Oh, you're on fire today.
Because we're talking heat maps.
So in your head, when you said it's getting hot in here, did you sing the song?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
It's getting hot in here. So,
Yep.
yeah. What? That was an earworm for like 7 years or something.
Yeah. A long time.
I don't. Mm. Of course I did. Of course I did.
Um,
Like I was like, "What do you mean? What's on?"
yeah, right. I have a random banter question for you.
Random banter.
If you had to choose between being hot and being cold,
Oh,
which
I know. Hot. Hot. Can I tell you why?
yeah, please.
I'm gonna tell you why. Because I've learned about myself in the last really in the last 4 years. Remember that phase of lockdown where we were like, "It's okay. We'll just do everything we did inside outside." Except it was 102 degrees outside. I actually had a moment sitting in a hot parking lot for a like gathering where I was like, if I'm going to continue on this planet, I must learn how to be in the heat. Um and I really took it on as a project and like figured out what I need when it comes to the heat, that now I think I told a couple weeks ago, you're not impressed with this. You, I think, are a little concerned that I went to Disney World for like 12 hours with my beloved, my husband Mark, for a work related thing. Um, and I was a champ. It was like heat index 106 or something. And I was like, not even bothered. I was not even
Hair
bothered.
flip.
Hair flip, not even bothered. So I don't like the heat. I prefer fall and winter, but I know what to do. Whereas when I'm cold, my body shuts down.
Mm.
Like I actually like I n- nothing is good. Like I can't think, I can't communicate, I can't, and I get cold a lot. So what about you, TJ? What would you rather be? Hot or cold?
Easy. This is as easy for you. Wait, easy for me to answer as it was for you to answer. I would so much rather be cold. Last week, I told everybody I went in Lake Louise and
Yes.
I did the polar plunge there. And part of the reason that I enjoyed that experience was that I so much prefer to be cold. I can't like I can't take be like the second I start feeling hot, like my ears get really red.
Mm.
And then like it all internalizes. This is nobody cares. People the people are like, stop talking about your weird ears, dude. But,
No.
but
They wanna know, TJ. They want to know. Keep
so
going.
so if the people out there felt like it was only you, it's not. It's not only you. It's me too. My ears get too hot too.
Podcasters, they're just like us.
But oh my gosh, I would so much rather I handle the cold so much better. Throw on a shacket or whatever and
Oh my
bundle up. I like being cold. I like it.
I get why you and my beloved Mark get along so well now. Like, you could just throw on a shacket. You both do you own a shacket, TJ?
Yeah, so for I mean, the people listening don't know. You see me all the time. I'm like a cartoon character. I wear the same thing every single day.
Yeah.
I have 8 pairs of the same pants and 8 of the same black t-shirts. So every single day I wear the same thing. So
And
I have multiple of the same shacket. So that blue shirt slash
yeah.
jacket thing that you see, that's my shacket.
Okay.
It's a,
The
a heavy shirt or a light jacket. I don't know.
No, we need to be cataloging some of these points brought up in our nonsense and banter for a whole episode to come back to, because I'm pretty sure what Mark calls a shacket is just a coat. Um, we'll come back to this. Maybe the two of you can address it in your relationship outside of here. Um, I the it sounds like your experience of the heat though is my experience of the cold.
Hmm.
Uh if I get cold enough, or not even, sometimes my body just decides, like in the summer, my body will decide like you're freezing. And there is nothing that can warm me. I have to get in like boiling water to
Mm.
actually come back up to temperature. I can't layer on that, like, if you're cold, you can add layers, but if you're hot, you can't do anything because this isn't a nudist colony. Like, no, no, I could put on every layer available. Um, and I would still like have a bone chill.
Mm.
And that sounds like what you have as far as, okay, I'm sorry, last thing, and then we'll get to heat. And we'll get to the what everyone's really waiting for. Have you seen, what is it, like The Year Without a Santa Claus?
Yeah, 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 absolutely.
Okay, I did not know this was a thing. This is what a nightmare movie. I'm if this was a part of your childhood, I'm so sorry. And again, I understand why you and Mark get along because that's awful. Like, that's not a Merry Christmas movie. That is not. Anyway, we're heat
But like
misers.
the heat, yeah. Ba-dum, bum, bum, bum.
Guys. Bum, bum, bum.
That now, the people who don't know what we're talking about is like, what are they singing? So you got to watch the movie.
Well, this is the thing though. I didn't grow up with this, and yet now I know, and it's not acceptable for people to not know. It's a cultural touch point. Everybody must know it. And so if you don't know it, pause, go look it up, and then welcome back to humankind. Um, but yeah, that's what we are. We should get hats.
Of the hair.
Dooms. How many? Well, don't.
Oh, I
I
get it.
mean,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. They're like whole
I'm
dance.
with you.
It's such a messed up movie. Can we have an episode that's just a watch party?
Yeah, sure.
Santa Claus. So heat maps. TJ, what's a heat map?
Oh, good segue. Um,
But no, I want an answer.
a heat map is a graphical representation of data. At the
Oh,
most
exciting.
right? Like, you'll often see heat maps used for population demographics,
Oh,
right?
right. What then why the heck are we talking about it with houses?
What a great follow-up question, Katie.
It really
Oh my gosh.
is.
So, we had an episode where we talked about why and why is so important. And I told a story in that episode about people asking for an addition and then they actually didn't need an addition. They had unused space in their home. So the heat map is the tool to find the unused space. So what it is essentially a color coded floor plan of your house
Hmm.
at the most basic level. Would you like me to describe more? Nope. End of
Nope,
show.
nope, I think we're good here. I no, that's the piece for me though, that if if you just asked me, if you were like, "Okay, what's the least used room in your house?" I'd be like, "Oh, probably this one." But when we get to color code it, I'm now invested in a different way. Now, when I can visualize something and when I get to break out the colored pencils, now I'm in. So you
Good.
did your job. You've done your job.
Perfect.
Um, are there other circumstances where you use this with clients? Circumstances other than like additions. Should we have an addition or not?
Oh, it makes sense all the time for space planning purposes. Should we make our kitchen bigger?
Mhm.
Which way should we make it bigger? Should we use the dining room to make it bigger? Should we use the living room? Should we move the kitchen to a totally different part of the house? Right? All three of those things didn't include an addition. It's all working within the existing footprint of the house. What the heat map does for me is helps me see where my clients have opportunity in their home and
Mhm.
where they don't have opportunity in their home. So when we explain how to do it and the color coding, um, that's what I'm looking for when I look at the colors. It's a useful tool for for you, the homeowner, to remove yourself from the day to day, like what you think the house is,
Yeah. Yeah.
and apply a color to the room. It's a useful exercise. But for me, I'm looking to see how much blue there is. And we'll explain what that means in a second, because to me, that means that's where I can affect the most change.
Okay. So can we I have a question that I think can come after this, but okay, what does it mean red versus blue versus purple versus okay, what do the colors mean?
So, so let me tell you what you need first. So you need a floor plan of your house.
Okay.
It does not need to be a professionally drawn floor. So you don't need somebody like me to come and draw a floor plan of your house. You can, if you bought your house recently, maybe there was a floor plan in the included with the listing photos of your house. If that's not the case, you could get a piece of graph paper if you're like an engineer type, and you can measure it and you could draw something to scale on a graph paper. If you're not an engineering type, you could get a piece of construction paper and a crayon and like
It's
draw
me.
rectangles as long as you understand what the rectangles mean. It's not important that they're the right size.
Oh, okay.
I we had a client. I'm not going to say his name, but he's an accountant. And if he's listening to this, hello. Um,
Hello,
this
it's
is this
great.
this is this is your 20 seconds of the podcast.
Yeah.
He drew his house in Excel, and in the book, in Designed Happy the book, when I talk about heat maps, I tell people if you don't have anything else, you can use Excel. And I said, I wouldn't ask you to do anything I wouldn't do myself. So here's the floor plan of my house that I made in Excel. None of the rooms are the right size, but it's kind of the right proportion and it's laid out the way it's laid out. We had a client who actually, and his was to scale. He changed the sizes of all of the columns in the rows to be a 4-inch grid. And then he drew his house to scale in Excel. And as we were working together on his project, he would transfer what we drew from a PDF to Excel, and then he would send me a screen cap of the Excel and be like, "Hey, what if we did this?" It was pretty amazing. Like that's
That's
some real
awesome.
legit. And so the point of that is it doesn't matter how you get the floor plan
Yeah.
as long as you have a floor plan to start from.
Okay.
Okay. If
Floor
your house has multi levels, so if you live in a 1-story house, you'd have one plan. But if you have more than one floor, a basement and a first floor and a second floor, basement, first floor, second floor, whatever, maybe it's 4 floors, you need a floor plan for each floor. Because what we might decide to do is, oh my gosh, you have a laundry room on your first floor that's right between your kitchen and your family room, which happens way more than you think.
Hmm.
But you have an oversized bedroom upstairs that's blue that no one ever uses. So let's move your laundry upstairs and open up this space downstairs.
Okay.
So that's why it's important to have all the levels of your house. So now you have, in some way, shape, or form, a floor plan for all the levels of your house. And now you need three colors. You said them already. You need red, purple, and blue.
Uh-huh.
And it could be a colored pencil, it could be a highlighter, it can be a marker, it can be a crayon. It doesn't, it could be post-it notes. It doesn't matter.
Hmm.
And you color each room of your house with how often it gets used. So for most people, you're in the kitchen a lot. I've had clients before that their kitchen is a piece of art and they never cook, so this wouldn't be true if you're that type of person. But if you're in your kitchen a lot, you would color it red.
Okay.
If you're in your primary bedroom a lot, it would be red. If you're in your laundry room every once in a while, it would be purple.
Mhm.
And if you have a guest room that only gets used once a year and it's largely empty, it's blue.
And when you're saying "you" here, that is the person who is doing this exercise or anybody who lives there?
Great question. As we've talked about before, like when we talked about the stay or go quiz, we
Mhm.
said everyone should fill out the stay or go quiz separately. Same exact thing here.
Yeah.
Because what happens if one person sleeps in, but the other person is an early riser? Like I'm up at like 4:30 in the morning. My kids are of the age where they just want to sleep all right. Emerson's 13. If she had her druthers, she'd sleep till 11 o'clock. So she would have no clue what my life was like from 4:30 in the morning to 11 o'clock. Right. So that's a very dramatic example, but that happens all the time.
Yeah.
Or on the flip side, if I go to bed early and someone else stays up really late, I would have no idea how they spent those hours. So it's really important to have the floor plan, make copies of it, and then everyone does their own heat map so that you can actually learn how the other people in your house use the spaces and not assume.
Fun family game night. Before the stare go quiz for the date night, this is family game night.
Look at us
Okay.
bringing people together.
Okay.
One clarification that's important. Sometimes you have a big room
Uh-huh.
with multiple uses in it. Um, so it's okay for a room to have more than one color. So, for example, maybe your living room is really long, long enough to
Mhm.
have two set. Like there are a lot of center hall colonials around the DC area. When you walk in the house, there's a living room on the right side of the house, and
Yeah.
that living room is the entire length of the house, from width of the depth of the house, from the front of the house to the back of the house. The whole thing is one room,
Okay.
and oftentimes with that large of a room there are multiple seating arrangements or uses. Like there might be a table with a chessboard in one section, and then a different seating arrangement with a TV.
Mhm.
So it would be totally reasonable to say we play chess all the time, and that is red, and we never ever sit in that seating arrangement, so that's blue. So if that happens, you can split a room into two sections.
Oh, I'm thinking of my house, which is, like, dramatically open concept because
Hmm.
someone decided to do it themselves, not us. Um, that's like, "Oh, yeah, this whole space would have different colors within it." So, that speaks to me. Okay. What then what is the question. They bring us to there.
What then what?
Do they frame it? Do
Yeah,
they
yeah. Um, S so what is pretty typical if there's more than one person doing the exercise.
Mhm.
So I don't want to make assumptions. Not not 100% of our clients are a couple. Define couple however you want, but a very large majority are. So if you're doing this with someone else, it almost always the heat map is slightly different.
Okay.
Whereas maybe one person's household responsibilities are to do the laundry. So they're in the laundry room and it's purple. And maybe another person's household responsibilities are to do the dishes. So to them, the laundry room would be blue because they're never in it.
Mhm.
Right. So, like, if that's true, then I'm immediately going to disregard that person's opinion about the laundry room because
Yeah.
right? It's not part of their day to day. It doesn't matter. Um, so you do it, they're probably going to be different. And then talk about it together. You do not need to come to a consensus if they're different. Like, don't hash it out and finish it with an arm wrestle to try to get them to match. It's our job to find the reconciliation between the two remodels that we've been talking about. That's our responsibility. The burden is on our shoulders to figure out why they're different and how they're different and how to reconcile the differences. But it's good to understand, oh my gosh, I didn't realize when you woke up earlier than me, then you went and sat in the living room and had coffee and
Yeah.
watched the sunrise. I didn't know that was a thing you did. Because, maybe that informs that space shouldn't totally be blue because the other person thought it was never used when actually it's kind of used every day.
It's again like the stare go quiz too. As good as it is to have an answer, to have an end product. I really appreciate what you said about it. Also, it tells you who knows what about what space. It gives you information as the service provider. Um, and if people can do this exercise just as like a data gathering experience and not feeling like they have to come out with, and this is the bluest room, and therefore, like, therefore off with its head, like, then um, it's yeah, it seems like it'll serve the whole process to just get use it as an information gathering exercise.
Yeah.
Okay. I think what I wanted to ask was how to ask it as a question. Help me out here. Help
Okay.
me help you help me. Okay? Um,
Jerry Maguire gets so much play on this podcast.
yeah,
I didn't, we didn't know that going in, but
or did we? Um, but I'm wondering if anyone has come to you saying like, we want to remodel our dining room, or we want um more play space, or we want, and you either do the heat map or you kind of informally do it, and you get like back to what you said, people having like the idea of their house or the idea of what they're asking for, and you being like, do you need placement? Do you use the timer? I pick that up. Like pick up what I'm giving you and make it work. Like, does that happen?
challenge accepted.
Okay.
So everyone, me, you, all of us have blind spots to what's actually in our house. It's pretty, so in architect, I learned this
Not
example
me.
in
Not me. Everybody but me, I think is what you meant to say. But go on.
I'm so sorry to disparage your excellent knowledge of your home. Um, so in architecture school, I learned this lesson from uh, one of the teachers. So we had these exercises called crits, like short for critique, where
Okay.
you take your work and you pin it up on the wall, and then people tell you why it sucks and ask you a million questions, and you have to defend it. So this was like a pre-crit. It was like a practice. It was before. So at the architecture school at CUA, it's a rectangular building, but inside some of the walls are curved.
Okay.
And I don't know how much people know about architecture school, but you spend an enormous amount of time in that building, just an ungodly number of hours.
It is all red. It is aw Yeah, 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 okay.
I see what you did.
I hear you.
Um, so I assumed I knew what that building was. And I had my work pinned up on a wall. And I don't even remember why this guy asked, but he was like, don't turn around. Is the wall behind you straight or curved? And I was like, what kind of idiot question is that? Like, I, I spent so much time in this building. The wall behind me is obviously curved. It's like, dummy. And he was like, okay, turn around. Now I said it way nicer then than I said it now. And sure enough, the wall was straight. And it's just a weird, it's a
Wow.
weird thing that happens. Is like you think you know how you use something, what it is. Like I've had so many conversations with homeowners when we're walking through their house and I'm like, okay, if we take that wall down, we're gonna need to move that light switch. And they're like, what light switch? I'm like that one right there. And they're like, I don't even know what that turns on. So it's like you just have blind spots to
Oh, yeah.
what's in your house sometimes. It's nor like it you're in it for so long, it just becomes background noise.
Mhm. Yes.
So the
I hear this happens, yes. Yeah.
so
Okay.
so because it happens all the time and you think you know what it is, but in reality you don't know 100%. Having
Yeah.
this other exercise come in and change the way you think about it helps. Did I get to where you were hoping I was
Yes.
going to get to?
Yeah, yeah, I think that idea of, like, blind spots in your house, being able to this is a vision clarification exercise, whether that is literal, like being able to literally notice the light switch or the wall, or more figurative, more yeah, your idea of your home, which then impacts your ideas about the home that you want or the changes you want to make to your home. So, yes, that's very helpful, and in thinking of how, like, that is how heat maps are used operationally to say, like, we're not just gonna assume this about this area, we're actually going to get the data on this before we make any decisions about this area, so
Yeah, and the the interesting nuance of it all is you also need to define the word use. So
go on. I'm like, "Oh, these the weeds we're going into? I
Pe-
love it."
people need to watch this episode on YouTube to see the way you just reacted to that.
Say more.
So I've had people where the dining room is blue for one person and red for another person,
Okay.
and one the person who made it blue is shocked to see that the other person made it red. And this was a husband and wife. So the husband made it blue, the wife made it red. And we reviewed it together and they hadn't reviewed it outside of the meeting. So the three of us were together reviewing it for the first time. So he was like, what? Like worked up. Like, how could you possibly, like, we never eat in there. Like, we don't even eat there on Thanksgiving. Like, how could that possibly be anything other than blue? And she was like, my magazines are in there. I put mail in there. There's when boxes come, I put boxes in there before I like, for her, it wasn't a dining room. Like
Yeah.
it was, like uh, prep space. It was a loading space before the thing got to where it was eventually going to go in their house. He never used that room that way. So he was like, there's a table in this room and we don't eat at this table. So this is blue. And for her, she was like, I'm in this room all the time.
Uh-huh.
So it's red. So it was my job there to figure out and work through the discrepancy and say, okay, like, do, does the dining room need to be the place where that happens, or can we find another space to provide that function that you're looking for in your life? And the answer was, of course, we could find another space for it. So they were both happy there, where we got to turn that blue dining room into something else, and then find a different, more useful place for like that prep loading zone.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds very much like couples counseling, but yeah. Yeah. It's like, let's get let's look at each other's experiences of this space. Yeah. Okay. Um, given our time, if people would like to try this exercise, where can they find it? This sounds like one of those things that, like, not everybody is going to have the opportunity to work with an excellent firm like Designed Happy. They can still access these resources. Where can they
Katie,
find?
I appreciate your commitment to the bit.
Thank you.
So, of course, there's a chapter in the book about heat maps. I think you and I did a pretty good job today describing what it is and how to make one. There are some other ways to make it that I touch on briefly in the book. So if they really, really want to do a deep dive on heat maps, they can get the book. But really, if you have some curiosity about this, just do it at home. Just scribble a floor plan on any kind of paper. Like, do it on the side of an Amazon box. It really, like, the medium is not that important. The exercise is important, and what you learn
Yeah.
from the exercise.
Yeah, and genuinely now off the bit for a second, I want to admit that in talking through this, we have we talk about and we write and we put in our copy a lot about the design we do and the projects we work on um, are so that people actually enjoy where they live,
Mhm.
so that you can actually love living where you live, actually love living in your home. Um, and this is one of those things that I'm like, oh, I get it now. Like I got it before, but it seems like to not have this as a part of the process, you could go through this whole um experience. You could invest all this time and money and you you could be working on like blue areas. You could just be getting more blue areas or you could be adding to um yeah, this is just one of those things for me as we say. I'm like, "Oh, that's exactly what we're talking about." Uh working with your what actually matters to you in your home. So, nice job. You're doing good job. You're on to something, TJ.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Well, I think we've changed lives.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Till next time.
See you then.
Bye.